may have some immunity from criminal prosecution for official acts during his tenure in office. And what the court does here is steps through each of the actions of former President Trump, his conversations with Mike Pence, pressuring Mike Pence, his conversations with Justice Department officials, pressuring them, and his speech on January 6th. And in each instance, the court takes a look, raises the issues, and sends it back down to the trial court to figure out, under this guidance, is Trump immune on each of those areas of evidence.
A former mall on Milwaukee's north side gets one last walkthrough today. WTMJ's Adam Roberts is there.
As bulldozers move gravel in the parking lot outside the former Northridge Mall on Milwaukee's far northwest side, media members today getting a chance to tour the interior of the structure that hasn't been open for the public since 2003. What did we find? Lots of broken glass, plenty of vandalism, signs of leftover fires from those who have broken in, and also even growth with small plants inside the old mall's pagodas. The Department of City Development says it hopes demolition of the full mall will begin later this summer. At the former Northridge, Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Well, the city of Milwaukee is launching a new anti-speeding campaign for the summer called Speeding, We Can Live Without It. The campaign starts today and targets the high injury network. And that's the 10% of streets in the city where 58% of crashes result in serious injury or death. Drivers are encouraged to share how they've been impacted by speeding through the campaign's story wall, as well as practicing good behavior when on the road and reporting any reckless driving they see. The campaign comes after 80 car crash deaths in 2023.
A 61-year-old man from Saukville is dead and a child is severely hurt after an accident involving a suspected drunk driver. The crash happened Sunday afternoon in the town of Plymouth. The Sheboygan County Sheriff's Office says a 53-year-old man from Plymouth was driving on Highway 67 near County Road S when he crashed into a Hyundai. The Saukville man died right there at the scene. Flight for Life flew his 12-year-old passenger to Freighter.
Well, the operator of a movie rental platform is bankrupt.
Redbox emerged in the post-blockbuster, pre-streaming world to provide movie rentals. But that world has changed, and Redbox's operator, Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment, has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. The company's $970 million in debt, and much of that debt came from the $375 million it spent acquiring Redbox 2 years ago. Deadline reports Chicken Soup recently missed payroll and suspended employee medical benefits. Brian Clark, ABC News.
Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow down about 4 points right now at 39,119. Just as I say that, it goes up a point. How about 39,120? NASDAQ is up about 72 points at 17,804. S&P 500 up about a point at 5461. For sound financial advice from a fee-only fiduciary, it's Annex Wealth Management. Go to annexwealth.com, click on the Get Started button today.
Sports, traffic, and weather next. Sounding Unlimited WTMJ News Time on this Monday is 11:05.
Artwork, especially original artwork, can be pricey. But when you take it in on consignment from nice people like you who are just ready to change the look of their home, you can price it right. And you'll find a lot of it at Design Exchange. Beautiful frame pieces by a number of notable artists. And new ones pop in all the time. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. In Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Now these tend to fly off the shelves. But don't worry, because our connection supplies us with a lot of them. Vintage ceiling tiles from once great old buildings in New York City that make for ultra-unique artwork. These items are definitely hard to find from anywhere else around here. So come take a look, and you'll probably find a treasure. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. In Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Each day, there's a sliver of time when you can almost breathe freely. And you feel better when you can. But you know that eventually that sliver of time closes, along with your nose. It puts a damper on your day every day. So you pop a pill or you take a spray to try to get that relief back. But it's always short-lived. And all the while in your efforts to give yourself relief, you may be making your nasal breathing problems worse. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula, and a simple in-office procedure from Advent called balloon sinuplasty could be the fast and convenient answer to your breathing triangle problems. Advent has been a leader in this procedure, which can be hard to find elsewhere. It's simple. There's little to no downtime, and it really can be life-changing.
Go to AdventKnows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Brewers complete a 5-1 homestand with a 7-1 win over the last-place Cubs Sunday afternoon. 7-game road trip begins tonight in Colorado against the Rockies. The Brewers have hit 5 grand slams in their last 8 games. Coverage of tonight's game gets underway at 7:05 on WTMJ. NBA free agency is underway. The 76ers will sign All-Star forward Paul George to a 4-year contract worth $212 million. And Rice Lake native Kenny Bednarik qualifies for the Olympics in the 100 and 200-meter dash, finishing second at both events at the U.S. Championships in Oregon.
Let's go ahead right now and check out the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. Here's what we have on the system right now out in the Pewaukee area. I-94 East beyond the ramp from County F in Waukesha County. The right shoulder is blocked due to a disabled vehicle. It's kind of one of those mornings for the disabled vehicles. They're out there. It's like a morning, a Monday. Sometimes you have a hard time going. Yeah, some of these cars are too today. Also, I-94 West, beyond the ramp from Highway 100. The right shoulder is blocked also because of a disabled vehicle. And one more. Oh, that one just cleared. Closer to American Family Field. I-94 East at the ramp from 68th Street. Right shoulder is blocked due to a car that's broken down there.
Traffic is sponsored by Hall Mazda Milwaukee. Visit hallmazdamilwaukee.com.
While you're navigating the roads as quickly and safely as possible, if you see something we should know about, call the WTMJ Hall Volkswagen Traffic Tip Line.
414-238-9329.
Mostly sunny today. It's beautiful outside. Some PM clouds will be on the increase. A high of 71 tonight, an overnight low of 62. Rain expected to move in here on Tuesday. Breezy with a high of 78. Rain early on Wednesday, then warm and humid with a high of 87. For your 4th of July, partly cloudy, isolated chance of a shower or storm at a high of 82 degrees. It is 66 degrees in Milwaukee at 11:09.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
Off and running with your holiday week edition of Wisconsin's Midday News. Greg and Jessica with you till 1 o'clock today. Jessica, I always find you a voice of reason and logic.
Oh, well, thank you.
You are someone who understands the situation and the right thing to do and the wrong thing to do. I trust you.
Uh-oh, where are we going with this? I would agree with that, but where are we going with this?
So my 7-year-old daughter, Kendall, had her soccer team at a pool party yesterday. At one of the coaches has a home near our house, and they've got a pool. So we're getting ready to go over there yesterday afternoon, and I've got it's like a swim shirt on and my swim trunks, and Emily, my wife, looks at me and says, "Well, what are you doing?"
You said I'm about to dive into the pool.
It's a pool party. Like, what are you doing, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's a party for kids, right? So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to wear what I'm wearing. You wear what you're wearing. We'll get to the party, and we'll just kind of see what happens. And I think I maybe put into her mind there was a chance maybe that she would go into the pool too. So she ended up wearing a swimsuit underneath some jean shorts and then had a top over it. And if the case arose where adults would be in the pool, she could handle that situation. I'm like, all right, well, they're going to take a pulse on all the other adults who are there. I think there was one other adult out of the 20 that actually was ready to go into the pool. So if it's a soccer kids...
Wait, this was Sunday or Saturday?
This was yesterday.
Okay, it was a little cool.
It was cool. The pool was heated. It was warm. It was
all
like a bathwater pool. It was wonderful. I was the only adult, to my knowledge, that entered the pool. Not for a long period of time.
Does not surprise me.
But did I screw up? Was that against the rules to go into the pool of a pool party for a soccer team?
I don't know if it's against the rules or not, but I do just visualize you in the pool and then like 20 kids around just splashing.
Kind of what happened. There's a diving board, and I tried to shoot a long-range basket while jumping off the diving board and into the pool. Of course, I was being encouraged while standing on the diving board to just, I was going to make a basket, and then everybody yelled, jump in, jump in. So, of course, with my shoes on and everything else, I did.
With your shoes on?
Yeah, but they drain easily.
Oh, man.
They're in the dryer at home.
That's why your wife was like, come on, don't go in the pool. She knew you might come home with soggy sneakers.
I got a half-hearted laugh and a little bit of an eye roll from
Poor
my
Emily.
wife, but all good. Not one of the big stories we're covering here today, but there are several here as we hit 11:11 here on a Monday.
3 big things on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Number one, a historic ruling just in from the U.S. Supreme Court. The country's highest court rules Donald Trump may claim immunity from criminal prosecution for some of the actions he took in the final days of his presidency. And some is the key word there. In broader terms, today's decision says sitting presidents have immunity for official acts, but not all acts are official, and lower courts must decide which acts qualify.
The former president says that this is a big win for our Constitution and democracy. Proud to be an American. That is the first reaction coming in from Donald Trump to this ruling today out on the campaign trail. There is no question about it. This is big for Donald Trump because time is something that his campaign, that the former president, were deeply worried about. They did not want to see this trial happen any closer to Election Day.
That's ABC's Rachel Scott. The trial she's referring to there is a federal election subversion trial. Trump still faces a sentencing hearing next week in his hush money case after being found guilty on 34 felony counts.
Well, according to a CBS News poll, increasing numbers of voters do not think President Joe Biden should be running after his debate performance last week. National survey finds that 72% of voters do not believe Biden has the mental or cognitive health to serve as president, as well as nearly half of his own party. That's an interesting number, 72%. If it were more like 50%, you'd think it's sided appropriately, Democrats and Republicans, but 72 indicates there's plenty of Democrats on that side as well. Meanwhile, 49% of voters say they believe former President Donald Trump does not have the mental or cognitive ability. The poll was conducted with a national sample, about 1,130 registered voters. Meanwhile, publicly the keyword, former Presidents Obama and Clinton are among Democrats doubling down on their support for President Biden. And for now, Biden's campaign team is making it clear that the president will not step aside.
Another key part of this new poll that's just out today that I thought was interesting, the question was, should Biden be the nominee? And this is among Democratic registered voters, how they voted. 55% said he should continue running. 45% of Democratic registered voters said he should step aside. Number three, a new campaign in Milwaukee to stop speeders. The city unveiled it just about an hour ago. The name of the campaign is Speeding. We Can Live Without It. The city is encouraging people to slow down and drive the speed limit, report speeding and reckless driving, and share stories about how speeding has impacted you. You'll see billboards and posters about the new campaign. You'll see ads on buses too, plus social media posts. The campaign focuses on the high injury network. So what's that? Well, that's the 10% of streets that have 58% of the crashes that kill or severely hurt people.
Well, what's the name of that campaign again?
Speeding. We Can Live Without It.
Well done, everyone. It's 11:14 on WTMJ. Were you at the ballpark over the weekend? I was there on Saturday, but I had no idea the issues that happened when folks were trying to leave the Brewers-Cubs game, going down an escalator that had some issues. And the issues persist. Luckily, the Brewers are on a road trip. Hopefully, everybody is okay. We'll go through it after this.
It's like playing baseball in the house
Mom, Dad broke the window.
without the risk of
Again.
that. Every Thursday at 8:40, play virtual baseball on Wisconsin's Morning News. Step up to the virtual plate and test your mettle against the best.
Swing and a drive to right.
It's virtual baseball, presented by Siding Unlimited. Only played here on WTMJ.
Hey, Greg Matzik here. I want to tell you about a new era of sports betting. It's at Potawatomi Casino Hotel in Milwaukee. What a gorgeous new sports book. Incredible. It really is. A 2,000 square foot video wall. The game is on. I can assure you that. And right now you're probably watching some tennis, some soccer. Like, you name it, it's going to be on at Potawatomi Sportsbook. It is gorgeous. Take a trip through, see what I'm talking about here. A restaurant, full bar, there's a VIP deck. It really is a paradise for sports fans. You're going to love it. Go hang out, catch a game with a beer with some friends, and have yourself a great time. Hustle in. They've got the sports betting kiosks up and running. You can do that work at the kiosk. You can go to the desk. Want to talk to somebody live and in person to make those wagers. You can do that as well. Hustle into Potawatomi Casino Hotel in Milwaukee. Really, see all that's new. Try the food. Check out the space. Much has been renovated, and the sportsbook is brand new. It's incredible. A new era of sports betting on now at Potawatomi Sportsbook.
It's Christmas in July at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. Get sale discounts store-wide all month long. What a great time to shop for all of your Christmas needs. Get your holiday decor and so much more, along with all the great bargains we always have for you. It's Christmas in July at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it. St. Vincent de Paul.
Buying a home should be a joy, but could you imagine doing this without a realtor? Paperwork, inspections, appraisals, deadlines, showings, market research? Or you could relax. Or understanding legal documents, negotiating offers, coordinating inspections, securing finance. Oh, sorry. A realtor can take the stress out of the home buying process. See how at wra.org/a-realtor-can. Brought to you by the Wisconsin Realtors Association.
Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
Beautiful day today with a high of 71 degrees. You might see some clouds increase throughout the course of the afternoon and into the evening. Overnight low of 62. Expect some rain in the forecast on Tuesday with a high of 78. It'll get a little muggy on Wednesday with a high of 87 degrees. It is 66 in Milwaukee at 11:18. So I was at the Brewers game on Saturday night with my dad.
I saw the pictures. So nice.
It's like the one game in the last 10 where they haven't hit a grand slam, so shame on me. I picked the wrong one.
Shoot.
Pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah, it's been wild. It's so fun.
I had no idea this was happening. So we had seats at the club level. So for us to get out, it's very simple. We walk out of the club section, we grab an escalator down, and we're not spending really much of any time in the concourse. We're out of the stadium in a minute, right? It's a relatively short escalator ride. Well, a longer escalator ride was carrying fans from the terrace level down to the loge level. This is a big dog. This is a big, long escalator, and commonly...
I feel like it's kind of unique, too. I mean, if you've gone down it, you know the one we're talking about. And it's not very wide, either. I just always take note of it whenever I've used it. It's long, and it's kind of thin as far as how many people it can fit for width-wise.
Well, and because of its length, it tends to hold more people than any other escalator in the ballpark. Well, 11 people were injured following the conclusion of Saturday's game when that escalator malfunctioned, leaving fans just pummeling down to the floor, right? The increase in speed of the escalator as part of the malfunction sent people down, right? Just literally falling on top of each other.
Well, and 6 of these people were hospitalized, too.
Yes.
And a lot of people are saying, a lot of people who were there are saying, the number hurt is probably more than 11 because not everybody ended up, going in an ambulance and going to the hospital or saying I'm hurt. Some people just went home because they weren't among those hurt the worst.
And with the increased media attention on the series, right, you had a jammed up media parking lot with some national outlets. Obviously, Chicago brings a lot of media up, normal contingent of Brewers media. So that started to pepper its way around social media on Saturday.
It was quick. Yeah, I sent the newsroom. I was like, hey, this is big. I mean, this is huge. You don't expect this to happen.
The game ended about 5:45. Brewers ended up losing, and less than 2 hours later, the Brewers came out with a statement explaining the issue, saying that an escalator at American Family Field moving fans from the terrace level to the loge level malfunctioned, resulting in an increased downward speed. 11 people were injured, 5 of them treated at the ballpark, 6 others transported to area hospitals with non-life-threatening injuries. On-site physician and EMS were on scene immediately and appreciative of their quick response. I don't know if you were there, those listening. If you were, did you see it? Did you hear it? Were you in it somehow, some way? Hit us up on the text line here at 855-616-1620. There are instances of this happening just in history, right? It happens on occasion. And it always looks like just a terrifying scene, right? You're just sort of standing there waiting for the escalator to bring you to where you need to go, and all of a sudden there's just a pile of people at the bottom of it, so that there's no way to go. How do you get out of that mess?
So
you can't.
Frightening. I was looking at one of the men who was there. He was writing on social media about it over the weekend. He said, well, I was one of them caught on this thing. This is Greg Braggs Jr., by the way. He says a big portion of our group was on the escalator as it completely gave way with over 100 people on it. Probably the scariest thing that's ever happened to me, he says. His knee got messed up, but at the end of the day, he said it was really lucky that it wasn't worse for him. He says the reason this happened was because there was no one working there that monitors the escalator and only allowing a proper amount of people on it at one time. So he thinks, Greg Braggs Jr. here, tweeting out, way too much weight on it. It just gave way. It's not a mall escalator that is one floor. It's the longer and steeper one, as we were mentioning. But he talks about some of the other injuries. He said the entire escalator shook and everyone got scared. Then seconds later, the whole thing gave way and just turned into a roller coaster off the tracks. He said piling people on top of each other as it kind of charged all of them to the bottom. He said there were some older people who were hurt pretty badly and trampled over. An older lady was right in front of him, so he tried to hold her up as they were hitting the bottom there, but they both got completely taken out by the people behind him, and then in the process, he hurt his knee. He later in the day had tweeted out, to give you an idea what happened, some of you will remember this, but something similar happened in Rome. There was an escalator that was kind of out of control at a metro station in Rome and caused multiple injuries, and we do have that here, at least 11 people that we know of who were hurt, and 6 of them who had to go to the hospital.
So the Brewers have the benefit of time here, given the team is on a road trip, but that escalator was closed for Sunday's game. Brewers are gone for a 7-day road trip. Then they have a short homestand before the All-Star break. But I would imagine that, there's a lot of people wondering. Insurance companies are involved. Lawyers are likely involved in this. An absolute mess at American Family Field at the conclusion of that game. If you were there, hit us up on the text line. Let me know your perspective of it at 855-616-1620. Scary scene at American Family Field. Hopefully those who are taken to the hospital are okay, and everyone else who was involved. Scary situation. It's 11:23 on WTMJ. It's a holiday week. What does the forecast look like? We'll check in with TMJ4 meteorologist Tyler Moore coming up after this.
Loyalty, family. Few things are more important. This is WTMJ's Steve Scafidi. Yet another strong storm rolled through Oak Creek in South Milwaukee, causing actual damage at my house. Thankfully, I knew exactly what to do. I called my friends Jeff and Jake at Loyal Family Renovations, and Jeff came by to assess the damage. If your home has suffered storm damage, don't leave it up to the out-of-towners. Loyal Family is family-owned, and the loyalty belongs to their customers. Contact them today for a free damage inspection, and they'll help make your home remodeling dreams a reality. LoyalFamilyRenovations.com.
Rose Gray here from Fox World Travel. Don't miss the largest vacation sale in the nation. It's the Fox World Travel exclusive July sale with Apple Vacations. July is the best time of the year for unbeatable deals. If you like saving, you do not want to miss out on this sale. Let Fox World Travel book your best price guarantee vacation and secure your vacation with just a deposit. Visit foxworldtravel.com/July and get on the exclusive list. That's foxworldtravel.com/July.
Well, if you need flagstone for your new natural patio, Erickson's is the place to find it. We have the largest selection and 15 styles to choose from. And for decorative stone, Erickson's is your best choice. Our decorative stone is trucked in from all over the country. We buy straight from the quarry and cut out the middleman to keep your prices nice and low. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. So he said to me, "Boy, oh boy, do you got the boulders." And I said, "You betcha." And he said, "Do you mind if I cherry pick?" And I said, "Feel free. They're all beautiful and they're all granite. Sparkling pinks, blues, and grays from 4 to 36 inches. And they're all priced right because we buy direct from the source nationwide to give you the look you want." Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
Well, the holiday week is upon us. You likely have some road travel, maybe some air travel coming up. Boy, we're starting off great. 71 degrees are high today, sunny skies. What does it look like as we get closer to the 4th and into the weekend? We welcome in TMJ4 meteorologist Tyler Moore. Hello, Coach.
I was wondering if you were going to remember to do that or not. I was curious if you wrote
notes.
That in the
He
title
remembered.
there. Yeah.
If nothing else, it's your forever nickname from me. But yes, if you missed it, the news of last week, Tyler Moore, not only an excellent meteorologist, but he will be the assistant head coach at Marquette for their women's soccer team. So we're going to call him coach here and there on the program, but he is still able to join our program. He is not so big time that he has bailed on us, and we thank you for that, Tyler.
Oh, never too big for you guys. You guys, I'm too big, or you guys are too big for me is really what it comes down to.
Oh, shame on that. Of course not.
We do have a segment before you at 11:08 called 3 Big Things. It's one of my favorites.
Right, yeah. It's kind of a fourth big thing here with Tyler joining us. So what are we looking at here? Starting off great, but what does the rest of the week hold? A lot of people with plans outdoors.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those weeks where we're going to have to kind of take it day by day with some of these storm chances heading our way. So, the good news is, obviously, you mentioned it. Today's beautiful, right? Yesterday was fantastic. Today's fantastic. Sunny skies, high temperatures, low 70s. You'll notice some clouds increasing a little bit this afternoon. Just some high clouds going to filter a little bit of that sunshine. The things will kind of go downhill more towards tomorrow. We are looking at a couple rounds of showers and storms for your Tuesday, probably one arriving as early as 6, 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, and then another round towards the evening hours. So a couple chances of rain on Tuesday. Wednesday, that rain should exit pretty early, so I think most of Wednesday is looking dry. It's looking like a good day to head out by any water, really, a pool, beach if you can. High temperatures mid to upper 80s. Humid, warm. The 4th itself, small chance for an isolated rain shower, thunderstorm, but most of the models have been trending late into the overnight hours and into Friday, so that brings more rain chances towards Friday.
Well, that's good, because I was going to ask about that Thursday. You've got so much. You've got festivities, you've got parades, you've got fireworks. So you're thinking Mother Nature is going to hold off for all the fireworks shows in the various communities.
Yeah, I'm hoping it trends that way. It's still, we're still 4 or 5 days out from that at that point. But yeah, right now I'm liking the way the models are trending, drier than wetter. And right now I'm saying we're keeping a small chance for rain in the forecast, about a 30% chance. So it's not overly high. Unfortunately, it's not zero, but most of the day should be dry, and anything that does pass through should be pretty quick.
And Tyler, what about weather across the country? And I ask that for two reasons, because you've got so many people who are traveling for the 4th, but you also have a record number of people flying right now, and I know how quickly one storm can impact an airport, and then boom, it's just, you've got flights that are canceled or delayed, and that can be a mess.
Yeah. Summertime's always interesting, too, because you always have something going on with pop-up thunderstorms in the afternoon, so those are obviously pretty common in the south. We'll watch that system, too. That's going to move our way tomorrow towards the East Coast on Wednesday, so anyone traveling east of here could see some travel headaches with all the major hubs out there towards Wednesday, but most of the country's looking pretty quiet. We're not talking about any major impactful systems or major severe weather outbreaks, which is good news. Obviously, eyes are in the tropics right now as we have Beryl that's coming through the Caribbean, but that's about a week away from moving towards the Yucatan Peninsula and then maybe working towards some of the Gulf Coast areas like Texas and Mexico once again. So we'll have to track that one for plans after the 4th of July holidays for anyone who's heading down south.
Good stuff. TMJ4 meteorologist Tyler Moore. And Tyler, have a great week. We'll check in again soon.
You too. Have a good one.
You bet. It's 11:29 on WTMJ. News coming up in a couple.
Vince Vitrano for Johnson & Sons Paving. Summer is here, but before we know it, we'll be prepping for winter. Johnson & Sons Paving wants to make sure you're ready by remembering the 3 R's of parking lot and asphalt maintenance. Reseal every 2 to 3 years. Repair when you see signs of cracking or potholes. And replace if there's standing water, warping, buckling, or sinking. Don't scare those customers or tenants away with a bad parking lot. Connect with Johnson & Sons today to make those minor repairs before they become huge headaches. Visit johnsonsonspaving.com.
Fleet Farm has everything you need for your 4th of July cookout. No matter what your favorite grilling brand is, we've got it. Shop brands like Weber, Traeger, and Pit Boss. Get a Blackstone 28-inch griddle with hood on sale for just $279.99. Plus, pick up 2 16-pound bags of Kingsford charcoal briquettes for only $17.99. Get great deals on all the essentials for your holiday cookout at Fleet Farm.
It was a sobering headline. Social Security to run short by 2035. A possible 17% reduction in benefits. At Annex Wealth Management, we feel that Social Security is only one leg of the retirement stool, but it provides needed balance. It's time to stress test your retirement plan and move forward with guidance from the fee-only fiduciaries at Annex. Do it for you, your family, your legacy. Investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning. It only takes a few minutes to get the ball rolling. Head to annexwealth.com. Click the Get Started button.
I'm WTMJ's Sandy Mex, excited to invite you to come along with me for sounds and stories from Summerfest. What's on Tap will be broadcasting live at the Big Gig. I'll be at Summerfest from 6 till 8, surrounded by the fun, and where we'll hear from musicians, entertainers, and you. Stop by the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studios on the Lake Walk. Say hi and tell me why you love Summerfest. Catch What's on Tap live at Summerfest on WTMJ.
I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Monday, July 1st. Your top story, a monumental decision by the High Court.
I'm Jessica Ty. An arrest connected to a missing woman from Dodge County.
Mostly sunny today, some high clouds maybe this afternoon with a high of 71. Increasing clouds tonight, a low of 62. Rounds of rain expected on Tuesday, breezy with a high of 78. It's 66 degrees in Milwaukee at 11:32. The Supreme Court has issued its final decision of the term, which could have lasting ramifications on the power of the presidency and whether a president, current or former, is above the law. A 6-3 ruling saw all 6 conservative justices rule that an ex-president has full immunity from criminal prosecution for official acts conducted while in office, but they also ruled that an ex-president has no immunity from prosecution for unofficial acts. Professor Tara Lee Grove with the University of Texas Law School talks about what this could mean for the case still pending against former President Donald Trump, like the one by special counsel Jack Smith.
As a practical matter, there's going to be a whole lot more litigation. So basically what the Supreme Court did was spell out the broad legal standard, and they applied it to some of the facts in the January 6th case. But for most of the case, they said, okay, here are the broad outlines of the legal rules. Lower courts figure out how to apply them to the specific facts alleged in the indictment of Donald Trump.
Trump calls the court's decision a, quote, big win.
The estranged husband of a missing Dodge County woman has been arrested for identity theft.
37-year-old Crystal Roche of Kleiman was last seen June 11th and reported missing June 23rd. Her husband, Zachariah Roche, has since been arrested for identity theft, using Crystal's debit card at several stores since her disappearance. Some of the items include gloves, stain remover, and carpet cleaner, with all charges totaling over $6,500. Investigators are currently searching a vehicle registered in Crystal's name that was found on a property belonging to Zachariah's relative. Jack Grau, WTMJ News.
Roush is currently in the Dodge County Jail on $250,000 bond. Police say they still consider this a missing persons investigation.
Well, 2 weeks away from the RNC, the Milwaukee Fire Department says they feel prepared to respond to any emergency. Deputy Chief Darren Peterbers tells TMJ4 News they're equipped with sledgehammers, new fire engines, and all sorts of tools, due in part to a $75 million grant from the federal government.
It pays for everything from the people that we have working in there, the people that we're bringing in from the surrounding counties, and all of the equipment as well.
The convention begins Monday, July 15th.
Big changes coming to the Harley-Davidson headquarters in Milwaukee. Teddy Nichol of the Milwaukee Business Journal tells WTMJ Harley-Davidson CEO made changes to their physical space since most of their workforce is remote.
So the first phase of that was creating this park on the former employee parking lot. It's a really stunning design with a circular amphitheater. It is open to the public, which is cool.
Harley-Davidson will also open a new office for their factory racing team soon.
Well, the 4th of July lands in the middle of the week this year, making for an extended peak travel time. Make sure you're ready.
You'd think we could spread the celebrating into 2 weekends with the way the 4th of July falls this year, but the DOT is reporting peak travel times stretching through some extra days. On the way out, the heavy stuff will start around Wednesday the 3rd between 2 and 7 p.m. And for your return trip, you're looking at Sunday from 2 until 8. As per policy, the DOT tries to suspend overnight closures for the whole weekend, but barricades, cones, and barrels will still be present, so make sure you're paying attention. Debbie Laziga, WTMJ News.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Sunny and limited. WTMJ News time is 11:35.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-721-3955. 800-721-3955. 800-721-3955.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here for Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. Their mission is to transform the culture of care. We're all living longer. That means in all of our families, people are facing Alzheimer's, dementia, and other memory-related issues. Azura specializes in caring for those with early to late stage Alzheimer's or other related dementia symptoms. They're Wisconsin-based, 14 in our state, 4 in our area. I've been in their buildings. They're fantastic. It's Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living, empathy and compassion at the core. It's Azura.
Hi, I'm Mike Gansey from Yancey & Associates. We're passionate about continuing on our mission to help more Wisconsin businesses create more success. If you have any questions about our insurance products or just want a second opinion about your insurance or employee benefits, I invite you to check out ANSI.com, or better yet, give us a call at Yancey & Associates. And let's have a conversation about your business and how we can help you secure, protect, and grow your version of the American dream.
He has more energy and sleeps better, and his wife told him he no longer snores. John's decision to come to Advent changed his life. We can help change your life, too.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Brewers head west to begin a series with the Rockies tonight in Colorado. Coverage gets underway at 7:05. Milwaukee 5-1 on the homestand, following a 7-1 win over the Cubs on Sunday afternoon. NBA free agency period is underway. Teams free to negotiate with pending free agents. The window to actually sign those players doesn't hit until the 6th of July. It is being reported that the Milwaukee Bucks have struck an agreement with a backup guard, DeLon Wright, 1 year, $3.5 million, according to ESPN. And Rice Lake native Kenny Bednarik qualifies for the Olympics in the 100 and 200 meter dashes, finishing second at both at the U.S. Championships in Oregon.
Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Much of what is on the system right now, in fact, just about all of it, minus the slowdowns in construction spots. Disabled vehicles today. 94 is the problem spot. Right a little bit past American Family Field, I-94 East at the ramp from 68th Street. The right shoulder is blocked there due to a car that's broken down. If we keep driving past the Milwaukee County Zoo, I see another one, I-94 West. Beyond the ramp from Highway 100, the right shoulder is blocked due to a disabled vehicle there. And if we keep driving along, let's go past Elm Grove, Brookfield, out towards the Pewaukee area. I-94 East out that way beyond the ramp from County F in Waukesha County. The right shoulder is blocked due to a disabled vehicle. Once again, that's I-94 East beyond the ramp from County F.
Beautiful day today, a high of 71 degrees, beautiful sunshine. Eventually, some clouds will roll in this afternoon. They'll increase overnight with a low of 62 degrees. Introduce some rain to the forecast on Tuesday with a high of 76. Going to warm up for Wednesday and Thursday. The 4th looks pretty good. Should be warm as well with highs in the mid-80s. It is 67 degrees in Milwaukee at 11:40.
When the New Testament pictures a Christian, a follower of Jesus Christ, it's more than just having a personal relationship with God. It's more than having a biblical worldview. It's more than holding to certain moral values. In the New Testament's way of seeing things, to be a Christian is to have a pastor, or many pastors, pulling for you.
Dr. Michael Ziegler this week on The Lutheran Hour.
The Lutheran Hour, Sunday mornings at 6:30 on WTMJ.
Greg and Jessica with you. It's Wisconsin's Midday News for a Monday. Happy to have you along for the ride. Text the word WATCH to 855-616-1620. You can hop into our studio with us or click the Watch Live button on WTMJ.com.
Why don't you try to eat your ham today?
I know. I
a little too close to the read.
I thought we had another ad in there, and all of a sudden the news started, and I was in the middle of eating ham. So there, no bread, just loose ham. That was my lunch today, along with some fruit.
That's the excitement happening right now.
Flying out the door this morning. Well, I don't know if you want to call it excitement, but President Biden at Camp David on Sunday, continuing to work with his advisors and dealing from the fallout after that disappointing debate performance last week, which really called into question Biden's acuity, cognitive abilities for another run at president. Boy, can he do it? Is he fit to do it?
And I like the fact that now we have some numbers behind this. We were kind of speculating. We were wondering what was going to be the fallout from this. Well, now we have some numbers. There's a new CBS News poll that's just out today, and it shows increasing numbers of voters do not think Biden should be running after the debate with Trump on Thursday night. So here's the big one. The question was, does Biden have mental and cognitive health to serve as president? Among registered voters, 72% of registered voters said Biden does not have the mental and cognitive health to serve as president. 72%. That's a big deal.
That is a heavy number, no doubt about that. Still, you've got public support in former Presidents Barack Obama and Bill Clinton, but still, as we welcome in Molly Nagel from ABC News national correspondent. Molly, it does appear some Democrats are on the other side of this saying, well, wait a minute now, we need to take a closer look at this entire thing.
Yeah, well, it wasn't just Democrats who were saying it was a slow start. It was Joe Biden himself saying he didn't have the best night. You know, he acknowledged he may not speak like he used to, he may not walk like he used to, he may not even debate like he used to, but he, says he is still up to the challenge and is going to stay in the race and get back up after what was really a disappointing time on the debate stage. We know that the president spent the weekend at Camp David with his family. This was a pre-planned event. The White House is really trying to underscore that this was on the schedule prior to the debate. But his family means so much to Joe Biden. So spending the weekend with them, you have to imagine that this debate performance came up in their conversations. But so far, the Biden campaign, the president, his family, they've all been in lockstep that he is staying in this race. Their argument is that, yes, it was a bad night for the president, but he's going to get back up and keep fighting. But obviously, this story is not going away. You're seeing a mounting amount of editorials from newspapers across the country. You're seeing Democrats in private or on background talking to the media and expressing concerns about what they saw on Thursday and what that means for his ability to do the job. So really what the campaign is up against here is how they reassure voters that the president is in fact up to the rigors of office and how they can undo the damage that the debate might have done in reinforcing some of the concerns that people had about his age and his ability to do this job. We saw him in North Carolina on Friday. He looks like a very different person than the man we saw on the debate stage Thursday night. So I think the campaign here is hoping that more appearances like this can help to kind of change the perception in voters' minds, but it really remains to be seen just how much damage came as a result of Thursday night.
Speaking of President Biden's abilities and what we saw on debate night and then what we saw the next day and what we've seen in the past, is it true President Biden has hours of the day where he's great? Say 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. is maybe what I read, but then when nighttime hits, it's not the same.
Well, look, you're president 24 hours, 7 days a week. So the job doesn't necessarily follow a strict schedule. He has engagements all over the place. But typically when you're looking at his schedule on a day-to-day basis, you do see that the president's schedules tend to be contained more to those, central hours of the day as opposed to early in the morning and late at night, at least when it comes to things publicly. Now, that being said, that doesn't mean that the president doesn't do anything during those times. We've just seen him come off of 2 foreign trips where he was overseas working essentially on 2 time zones, the local and the East Coast time zone back in the United States. But this is something that we have seen, like any president, it tends to be during working hours is when you're going to do your public events so that you can get the most eyeballs and the most traction for that.
It's really interesting because there was a lot of that commentary, like how can this Joe be the same as this Joe, right? And some went on to say that teleprompter Joe is a little different than having to go off the cuff and engaging in a conversation or a debate. Some other discussion over the weekend here, Molly, just indicated that maybe the group sort of preparing President Biden for the debate overextended him, that it was a little bit too much, that it just took the wind out of his sails. Whatever the case, he had one job to do on debate night, and that was prove he had the mental acuity to push forward for another 4 years as president, and he really much stumbled during that opportunity.
Yeah, and to your point about the teleprompter, this is something that the campaign, is going to have to deal with as they're going forward. He was on teleprompter on Friday when he gave that rousing speech and looked like a very different person. Obviously, during a debate, you don't have a teleprompter. So I think what we'll have to keep an eye on here is how does the campaign go forward? Do they put him in positions where he is off teleprompter, where he's not using that in his appearances to show that, yes, he can talk off the cuff and really try and underscore that their view that Thursday was a blip and it was not really what is representative of who Joe Biden is. So I think it'll be interesting as we go forward to keep an eye on how the campaign kind of shifts their strategy and what they do to try and change those things. And when you talk about the blame game, pointing the fingers at advisors for the preparation, all of these things tend to come when you haven't had a good night. So it's another acknowledgement by the Biden campaign or by Democrats in general that this was not a good thing for them, that this was not the debate performance they wanted or frankly needed from the president. But I think as this goes on, if everybody is trying to find out where to put the blame, where to move forward. But the fact remains is that the debate has happened, and it's now about what they do moving forward to either try and counter this damage and the frustration that you're seeing within the Democratic Party, or what they do to address it in a really fulsome way.
Yeah, speaking of moving forward, do some Democrats fear replacement scenarios as much as keeping Biden?
Well, look, the reality is that Joe Biden is not going to be replaced unless Joe Biden wants to be replaced. So the campaign has kind of this two-pronged argument. Yes, it was a bad night. We're going to move forward and keep on the fight. The other argument they have is kind of a be careful what you wish for situation. They're saying to anybody who is looking for Joe Biden to drop out, they say that will lead to, quote, weeks of chaos and internal food fighting, and it's a highway to losing to Donald Trump. So their arguing is that this is just going to be chaotic if we try and take Joe Biden off the top of the ticket. But it's not going to happen because that's not something he's discussing right now. So I think that there's, it's somewhat of an unprecedented situation that we would be facing 6 weeks out from the Democratic convention if Joe Biden were to say he was going to step down. But I think the campaign's main focus right now is trying to tamp down the expectations that is what's going to happen and really put a pin in those conversations that might be happening within the Democratic Party.
ABC News White House correspondent Molly Nagel with the latest. Appreciate your time today, Molly. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, guys.
Hey, coming up next, where does Milwaukee rank among the best skylines in the world? You may not believe it. It's 11:48 on WTMJ.
Downtown Milwaukee is the place to be for summer fun. Festa Italiana kicks off its 3-day celebration today at the Italian Community Center. Plus, the Frank Mott's International Kite Festival is back at the lakefront Saturday and Sunday. Head to Veterans Park for a dazzling display of hundreds of kites in all shapes and sizes. So come on down. Experience downtown in every sense. Go to MilwaukeeDowntown.com.
Greg Mancik here. I want to tell you about Krause Estate Planning and Elder Law Center. Krause Estate Planning is the brainchild of Dan Krause, a retired Army veteran who found joy in just helping out his family members setting up their wills. In fact, he enjoyed it so much, he started a company. And now Krause Estate Planning has offices in Madison, a little south of Madison in Oregon, and a brand new office that is now open in Brookfield, helping serve you during what could be a challenging time. Protect what you've earned, protect what you've built. Krause Estate Planning can help you do it from start to finish. They understand how the tax laws work, and they are ever evolving, and they know how to make you proud owners of as much as what you've earned as possible. Don't let the government get their hands on all that stuff of yours. No, you got to protect it. That's where Dan and his team at Krause Estate Planning can help you out. That office is open in Brookfield. Connect with them via estateplanningpeople.com. These are not cookie-cutter solutions. They're custom tailored to your needs. It's Krause Estate Planning and Elder Law Center.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Get your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval to buy at ACCUNET.com.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids. With an ever-changing inventory, you never know what great bargains you're going to be able to find at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. It makes shopping fun because the best finds are the ones you had no idea you'd even come across. And when they're at thrift store prices, it feels good. And it feels even better to know you're helping us help others. Shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Get an 11% rebate at Menards. Rust-Oleum Stops Rust Custom 5-in-1 Spray Paint lets you choose from 5 spray patterns with a twist of the dial. It protects indoor and outdoor metal and wood projects for long-lasting results and is available in more than 40 colors. Get started on your painting project at Menards, #1 in customer satisfaction among home improvement retailers according to J.D. Power. For more information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Save big money at Menards.
On a beautiful day like this, don't you just want to, if you're down by the lake, take a picture of the skyline, the Milwaukee skyline?
There are some stunning views, and Summerfest is always a great reminder. I think we saw a lot during Top Chef, too, that east of Milwaukee view, when you're coming in over Lake Michigan, sometimes you see it when you're flying back from somewhere out east. You see the art museum, you see some of the skyline, you see how it marries up with Lake Michigan. That is a beautiful way to see Milwaukee.
Oh, stunning. I love the Milwaukee skyline. I'm always taking pictures. I mean, if I'm down by the lake walking my dog, I'm taking a picture of the Calatrava. I'm taking a picture of this, taking a picture of that. I've always thought it was stunning. And there's something about hometown pride, right? It's just nice to be like, that's my hometown. Well, here's the deal. Architectural Digest just put out a list of the 17 most beautiful skylines, not in the country, but in the entire world. The 17 most beautiful. Guess what? Milwaukee made the list.
Number 15?
So here's the thing. As I said, I gush about it. I'm a cheerleader for Milwaukee, right? But I was a little bit surprised about this just because it's the entire world. Yeah, Milwaukee comes in at number 15.
I would have guessed if you asked me to, try and pinpoint where Milwaukee belongs in terms of its skyline, I would have said somewhere in between Manhattan and Gary, Indiana.
Oh.
I would not have said 15 on the list, ahead of Toronto.
Wait, the armpit of Indiana, that just cannot even be mentioned in this conversation.
So much as to say, I don't think skyline when I think of Milwaukee. I think of some great places to visit, and yes, it's a pretty view, but I don't think about its robust and gorgeous skyline.
Oh, my gosh. Well, here's the thing. It says, this is kind of the write-up for Milwaukee coming in at number 15. 15 out of 17. Remember, it's the 17 most beautiful skylines in the entire world. It says if it's not Chicago, the Midwest is often overlooked. And yes, that's true. And Milwaukee, certainly the last couple of years and definitely this year, we're out there, right, with Top Chef and the RNC coming to town. But definitely you could say we have been overlooked in the past, often called Chicago's little brother.
Sure.
But it goes on to say, but as Milwaukee so effortlessly demonstrates, this is a mistake. While on the smaller side compared to some on this list, its proximity to Lake Michigan and buildings by heavy hitters like Santiago Calatrava make it one of the prettiest in the U.S. You know who's next? Auckland, New Zealand. It's number 16.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you get to Toronto, which is... So I guess what you need to do is you need to remove the word robust from this, right? Because I think skyline, it's impressive what you see in Manhattan. Not that I love Manhattan, but
and Manhattan is number one.
They are, and Chicago deserves a place near the top of this list. Hong Kong is there in the top 5. There's not a lot to the Milwaukee skyline, but it is pretty. And again, I think it's that marriage with the lake
growing.
that really makes it stand out. Yeah, you're right. No, it is growing to the north. It is growing to the south. It can't really so much grow to the east.
Well, and it doesn't say anything about the fact that it's growing. I just mentioned that because it is, and it's important for our community.
It definitely is.
But it also, so this article basically says the world's most beautiful skylines are more than just collections of buildings placed close together. They're facades of entire cities, the front doors to many of the Earth's most vibrant metropolises. It's these man-made horizons that often offer the first impression to visitors, and I like this, and give a sense of home to returning locals. Because isn't that the truth? You mentioned if you're flying. I do that all the time. I mean, how many times have I flown back to Milwaukee or even flying out of Milwaukee, and every single time, if I'm at a window seat, I'm taking a picture.
Yeah. It's
My
a
husband's
creature of habit.
Delete those pictures. You have too many on your phone. No, every single time I want to do it. So I really love that. The skyline, it gives you a sense of home if you're returning home, which that's so true. But what exactly makes a beautiful skyline? That's a question that some might argue. One that's immediately recognizable, like Manhattan. That could be for some. Those that are kind of harmonious, it all goes together. Some would say that, but then some might say, oh no, a beautiful skyline has all these buildings that aren't the same, and they're striking because of that, right? So I think basically what they're saying is the answer is kind of a collection of those. It's not necessarily one thing, but a number of things.
So I think of it as a striking view from any direction. So upon entry into Milwaukee, what is your view of that skyline, and is it remarkable? Well, if you come in via airplane from the east to the west, it's beautiful. If you come in off the Hone Bridge, I think it's a gorgeous
Very cool sight, yes.
But then as you go west, it gets a little progressively diminished. 43 is okay. 41, you're not really getting much of it anyway. You know what I mean? So as you go west, it's a little bit more out of sight. You can see some of the skylines that are at the top of this list from any direction, from a great distance. Not necessarily the case with Milwaukee.
But okay, so let's do the rundown real quick. We mentioned a handful of these, but number 1, coming in the top spot, Manhattan. Number 2, Hong Kong. 3, Chicago. 4, Dubai. 5, Tokyo. You've got Sydney coming in at number 7 and Shanghai at 8. Singapore, number 9, and Bangkok, 10. So just think about this. The fact that we are in this conversation, I think, is so important, too.
Wild.
Just the fact that somebody over at Architectural Digest was like, you know what? We got to look at Milwaukee, and oh, yep, Milwaukee makes that list.
On the map for a variety of reasons. I like this one. 11:58 on WTMJ. We got news coming up next.
Hot dog, get your hot dogs here. Hot and fresh hot dogs.
Hot diggity dog, it's baseball season. Wisconsin's Afternoon News has partnered up with Vienna Beef to bring you Brewers Ticket Tuesday.
Tune in every Tuesday during the 3 o'clock hour for your chance to win a pair of tickets for an upcoming Tuesday home game for the Milwaukee Brewers.
Nothing says summer like a hot dog in baseball, and we've got both on Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
On the home of the Brewers, WTMJ.
I'm WTMJ's Sandy Max. What makes senior living at Three Pillars so special? Let's hear from Three Pillars resident Doris.
I came to visit, and it just felt very comfortable. It's a large campus. There's a lot of green areas. There's lots of trails that are going through it that you can walk. You can use your walker or rollie on it. They bought a bunch of trikes, and I want to try one of those three-wheelers and get it out on one of those walking paths. And for me, it's home with wonderful people.
Schedule a tour today at threepillars.org.
Here's to sweet summer days together with friends and family in Wisconsin. To discovering magic in every moment.
Hey, Mom, over here.
And to reconnecting through a world filled with wonder.
Wow.
Here's to supper club celebrations and dancing until the sun goes down. Here's to those who Wisconsin. Plan your summer getaway at travelwisconsin.com.
Your home suffer damage from a storm or severe weather? Don't stress any longer. Loyal Family Renovations treats all of its customers like they've joined their personal family, and every project as if the work was being done at their own house. Loyal Family Renovations has a leg up on the competition due to the personal relationships they've built with insurance adjusters over the years. Loyal Family is family-owned, and the loyalty belongs to their customers. Contact them today to get your free home inspection. LoyalFamilyRenovations.com. Another MVP has joined the roster at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, Dr. Michael Nolte. Expertscape recently named him part of the top 1% of spine expertise in the world. Dr. Nolte has published over 50 peer-reviewed articles in leading scientific journals and authored more than 100 national presentations. They added this MVP specialist for orthopedic, neurosurgical, and spine care because at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference.
Looking for a totally rad flavor adventure, brochachos?
Look no further than Surfer Boy Pizza as seen in Stranger Things. Each mouth-watering variety contains rich tomato sauce, delicious mozzarella cheese, and a gnarly range of toppings. The crust is crispy on the outside and airy on the inside. You'll think it was hand-tossed by the Surfer Boy Pizza dudes themselves. Look for it in the freezer aisle at your local store and buckle up your taste buds with Surfer Boy Pizza.
For your next exterior remodeling project, we know you're not asking a lot from us. You want the right products for your situation, you want a few different financing options that can make your project affordable, and you want us to do a good job with minimal disruption to your life. And this one's important. You want a warranty that matters. And we know that checking every box makes all the difference. You might be surprised at how many moving parts go into it, but we have just the right people in all the right places to pull that off every day and make it look easy. The company we have took us 21 years to build. It's an awesome place to work because we never stop improving it. And we think we can do this work so well that we can actually change the reputation of exterior remodelers long term. This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
Ask about our finance options.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a good karma brand station.
Can we get much higher?
Oh yeah, we can go higher.
And Bauer sends one out to center, racing back his hill at the track. Wall, grand slam!
The Brewers are in the Mile High City to take on the Rockies. Our coverage starts tonight at 7:05 on your home for the Milwaukee Brewers. News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
I'm Greg Nansick. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Monday, July 1st. Your top story, reaction to a historic Supreme Court ruling.
I'm Jessica Ty. Hurricane Beryl makes landfall. Will it hit the U.S.?
Mostly sunny today, a high of 71. Increasing clouds tonight at a low of 72. Some rounds of rain on Tuesday, breezy, with a high of 78 degrees. It's 67 degrees in Milwaukee. At 12:03 from the WTMJ Breaking Newsroom, in a split 6-3 ruling, the Supreme Court rejects former President Trump's claims on absolute immunity from prosecution, but did pave the way for the Oval Office to enjoy some immunity regarding official acts. ABC legal analyst Kim Whaley says this will undoubtedly have ripple effects on many things, including presidential elections moving forward.
You cast ballots for people that you believe are going to act with personal integrity, because they are now getting rid of tickets for speeding through red lights in the Oval Office. There's not a disincentive or less of a disincentive to use the powers of the office for personal gain and corruption. So people need to pull that ballot lever very, very carefully.
The ruling rejects a decision from a federal appeals court in February that found Trump enjoyed no immunity for alleged crimes he committed during his presidency to reverse the 2020 election results.
Arrested for fraud in connection with a missing Dodge County woman. Zachariah Roush of Kleiman is the estranged husband of Crystal Roush. Investigators arrested him for identity theft. They say he used Crystal's debit card at several stores after her disappearance. Items purchased include gloves, stain remover, and carpet cleaner. Roush is being held in the Dodge County Jail on a $250,000 cash bond. Crystal Roush was last seen June 11th. Investigators are currently searching a vehicle registered in her name, found on a property belonging to Zachariah's relative.
Ahead of the former Northridge Mall's looming demolition, a look inside sheds light on over 2 decades of decay. WTMJ's Adam Roberts.
As bulldozers move gravel in the parking lot outside the former Northridge Mall on Milwaukee's far northwest side, media members today getting a chance to tour the interior of the structure that hasn't been open for the public since 2003. What did we find? Lots of broken glass, plenty of vandalism, signs of leftover fires from those who have broken in, and also even growth with small plants inside the old mall's pagodas. The Department of City Development says it hopes demolition of the full mall will begin later this summer. At the former Northridge, Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
The end of June marks the end of Internet Safety Month, but staying safe on the Internet is important year-round. Department of Agriculture and Consumer Protection Rep Michelle Ryan tells WTMJ, wait until after your vacation to post.
Something as simple as a photo of your home or apartment building can be enough to identify your location. A post about an upcoming vacation can indicate an opportunity to steal from you because they know you're going to be gone and now they know where you live.
Ryan also reminds everyone to never click a suspicious link in your email.
As Hurricane Beryl continues its path through the Caribbean this week, experts are growing confident that the U.S. will likely avoid a direct hit from the storm. ABC's chief meteorologist Ginger Z.
Tropical storm watch already for south coast of Dominican Republic and Haiti. Jamaica will see impacts by midweek, but we're going to see how close the track gets there. Speaking of the track, most of the it takes it into the Yucatan Peninsula by Friday. So through the weekend, we'll watch it go back into the Bay of Campeche, and then eventually looks like it'll still stay for a second landfall in Mexico. Why would it stay away from the U.S. Gulf Coast? Growing confidence that that big ridge, the steering winds, would keep it south.
Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow Jones currently up 67 points at 39,185. The Nasdaq climbing today about 115 points at 17,847. S&P 500 is up about 10.5 points at 5470. For sound financial advice from a fee-only fiduciary, it's Annex Wealth Management. Check out annexwealth.com and click on the Get Started button today.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Sounding Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 12:07.
Jen Latta here from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. I have told you about the delicious pizza you can find at Proof Pizza inside St. Kate. Now there's even more to be excited about with new sandwiches on the menu. Available every day from 11 to 4, you can enjoy options like the turkey pesto, the meatball hero, the Italian hoagie, and more. Skip the same old lunch at your desk and grab a delicious sandwich from Proof instead. Order inside the restaurant or directly from the bar at St. Kate. Explore the new sandwiches and the rest of the menu at proofpizzamke.com.
Fleet Farm has everything you need for your 4th of July cookout. No matter what your favorite grilling brand is, we've got it. Shop brands like Weber, Traeger, and Pit Boss. Get a Blackstone 28-inch griddle with hood on sale for just $279.99. Plus, pick up 2 16-pound bags of Kingsford charcoal briquettes for only $17.99. Get great deals on all the essentials for your holiday cookout at Fleet Farm.
The July sale on Norwalk Furniture is on now at Ken Michaels Furniture. Save 40% on showroom pieces that are ready for immediate delivery, or in just 35 days, you can create a look that reflects your unique style with over 850 fabric and leather options. From family-friendly to on-point designs, these fabrics are durable and fashionable, and our design service is free to help you put it all together. For better quality American-made upholstery, stop in today and save at any Ken Michaels Furniture locations in Greenfield, Brookfield, or downtown. Get a better night's sleep and save money on a Milwaukee mattress. For over 70 years, our family has been making mattresses and selling them direct to your family. By cutting out distribution costs, you can save up to 50% and get a better night's sleep on a premium mattress. Go green with natural latex. Reduce tossing and turning at night by reducing pressure points on your body. This is one of our most popular mattresses. Stop in today and take a test rest at any of our Ken Michaels Furniture locations in Greenfield, Brookfield, or downtown.
When you breathe well, you live better. Find out more at adventknows.com.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports desk. Brewers complete a 5-1 homestand with a 7-1 win over the Cubs Sunday afternoon. 7-game road trip begins tonight in Colorado against the Rockies. The Brewers have hit 5 grand slams in their last 8 games.
They were a team that wasn't very effective with bases loaded up until about a week and a half ago. Now pitchers can't keep the ball in the park against you guys in the bases loaded.
We made a huge adjustment with the bases loaded. That's a secret plan. How to hit homers with the bases loaded.
Brewers manager Pat Murphy. Coverage of tonight's game gets underway at 7:05. Outfielder Garrett Mitchell off the 60-day disabled list. He is with the team in Colorado. And Rice Lake native Kenny Bednarik qualifies for the Olympics in the 100 and 200-meter dashes, finishing second in both events at the recently completed U.S. Championships in Oregon.
Let's check out those roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. The only issues we have right now, despite the construction zones, that yes, you're going to see those typical delays, the only thing we really have are disabled vehicles. Out in Waukesha County, I-94 East, beyond the ramp from County F, the right shoulder is blocked due to a car that's broken down there. And then as we get closer to Milwaukee, but still stay in the West Allis, Wauwatosa area, I-94 East at the ramp from 68th Street. Right shoulder is blocked due to a disabled vehicle there. And also, there is one, I almost hesitate to mention this one, though, because it's from earlier this morning, and I'm not quite sure the system is updated. 4194, this is closer to Caledonia. 4194 north at the ramp from County G. Right shoulder block there due to a car that's broken down.
Beautiful day today, a high of 71 under mostly sunny skies. Clouds will start to roll in later this afternoon, more so toward the evening and overnight hours, with a low of 62 degrees. Rounds of rain expected on Tuesday with a high of 78. Wednesday, rain early, then decreasing clouds, warm and humid, a high of 87. For the 4th, looks like partly cloudy temps with a high, or skies, I should say, partly cloudy skies with a high of 82. Isolated chance for a shower or storm. 67 degrees in Milwaukee at 12:11.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
Well, the holiday week is upon us here. 4th of July, 3rd of July, 5th of July, all right there in the middle of the week. So some expanded travel plans for people. We'll dive into that coming up in just a moment. Greg and Jessica, maybe we'll help you get you to where you're going today, right?
I always try to do so on the roads.
You certainly do.
Traffic report.
Do a great job of doing it. Yep, absolutely. It's going to be a busy week of travel, and it's one of the stories we're covering here as we flip to the noon hour on a Monday.
It's now at noon on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Families of the victims who died in 2 Boeing 737 MAX crashes are furious this afternoon about a plea deal the plane maker is getting. It stems from allegations Boeing misled the FAA during evaluations of the planes. So here's the deal from the Justice Department. Plead guilty to fraud charges or go to trial. In exchange for pleading guilty, the manufacturer will have to pay a financial penalty, but that's pennies to the company in the minds of many people. ABC's Trevor Olt has the latest.
Was already facing a conspiracy charge going back a few years, stemming from the investigation into a pair of fatal 737 MAX crashes. One of them in 2018 in Indonesia, the other a few months later in Ethiopia in 2019. Well, the Department of Justice is expected to make a plea offer to Boeing on that conspiracy charge, and the families of the hundreds of victims killed in those crashes are not happy.
Boeing would also subject itself to 3 years of monitoring and meet with the relatives of those killed on board its aircraft. The victims' families, meanwhile, they believe the deal allows the company to avoid full accountability for its safety failures. So as you heard, they're not happy. They're furious, as I mentioned. I mean, think about it. Their loved ones died. And they're like, okay, they're going to get, Boeing, this massive company, is going to have to pay a financial penalty. Doesn't seem like enough to them, that's for sure. Some of those families are now calling on judges to reject the deal.
Big week of travel, as we noted. According to AAA, about 1.5 million people will travel on Wisconsin roads this holiday week. So if you're wondering what the peak travel times are, expected to be between 2 and 7 p.m. on Wednesday, July 3rd, and 2 to 8 p.m. Sunday, July 7th. A lot of that road construction is going to pause over the holiday weekend. That should open as many lanes as possible, making things hopefully a little easier for you. As for air travel, more than 1,000 cancellations nationwide over the weekend thanks to thunderstorms out east. Keith Bruin of the Department of Aviation in Philadelphia says even a short thunderstorm can cause major delays during a busy travel season.
We have to wait about 20 or 30 minutes after the last lightning strike within 5 miles before people can go back on the ramp. So if we have a 15, 20-minute thunderstorm come through with lightning, that could have a really serious effect to air travel.
Yeah, think about that, right? Just a little bit of a storm, some lightning in the air, and all of a sudden everything's grounded. And there's certainly a trickle-down effect when you talk about getting to where you're going on time and making connections, right? A simple storm can have a long-lasting effect.
Oh, yeah, it's huge. And just to give you kind of like a different perspective on this, because I think this is just wild. So my husband is a pilot with one of the major airlines, and they get these things called green slips from time to time. It's when the airline desperately needs a pilot to fly the plane, right? So you can go to the destination that you want.
Sure.
Well, every once in a while, there might be a big night where you get 3, and that's huge. Well, last week, he got 19 calls in the last 24 hours. So there were 19 calls saying, we need you to come fly this plane if you can. 19 calls in the last 24 hours. We actually had 2 Botanas one night, and there was a green slip call coming in, and at the same time, I actually was recording it, and at the same time, another call was coming in at the same time.
How do you pick?
Well, some people don't pick at all. Some people say, nope, you know what? I want to stay home with my family, and I'm not scheduled to do it. I'm not going to help out. And then other people do, and my husband does from time to time. Sometimes it's worth it. It's hard to say no in some of these cases. But yeah, I mean, if you don't have these pilots who are picking up the flights, then you have some people who don't get to their destinations.
Well, finally, the summertime uptick in COVID is in full swing. ABC's Jim Ryan has the update.
The COVID infection reporting requirements of 2020 have been scrapped, but according to the best estimates.
Right now, we're seeing it rising in at least 44 states.
ABC News medical correspondent Dr. Darian Sutton says the good news is that current vaccines appear effective against newer strains. And if you do come down with COVID, he says,
Paxlovid still seems to be available and working for this virus, and so you want to make sure that you get it when you need it early enough.
Jim Ryan, ABC News.
According to the CDC, the flirt strains make up more than half of COVID infections nationwide right now. Hawaii, by the way, the only state in the U.S. where COVID cases are going down.
Coming up next, a familiar voice is leaving a popular program. We'll explain after this. It's 12:17 on Wisconsin's Midday News.
The National Weather Service has issued a tornado watch.
Go to a place of safety now. A tornado warning is in effect.
The danger in the thunderstorm alone is definitely there. We have wind gusts where it's at 50 miles per hour and lots of lightning in this storm system.
Keeping you updated on the weather so you can keep you and your family safe with severe weather coverage on WTMJ. Sponsored by Fleet Farm, proudly serving the Midwest since 1955.
You're never going to believe it.
Why would I not believe it?
John Hoyman has a big idea. Big!
John, our Chief Financial Officer?
Hi, Rick. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Monica.
Hi, John.
Hey, John.
Are we in trouble?
No. Everything is great.
Tell them your idea.
18-month special financing for all purchases made in July.
Subject to approved credit, right?
Of course. Just ask an associate for details.
That's a year and a half to pay. Can we do that?
We're an employee-owned company. We can do anything we want.
Sarah, are you nervous we can't afford it?
Sarah, this is John, our CFO. If John says we can afford it, we can afford it.
Do you like the idea of 18-month special financing?
I like it.
I like it.
But only for purchases made in July, right?
Right.
I like it.
18-month special financing for all purchases made in July. Only at Kessler's. For the location of the Kessler's nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Tune in on Sundays at 10 a.m. for the AccuNet Mortgage and Realty Show. Join AccuNet's Brian and David Wickert for the most up-to-date information on mortgage trends, along with timely news on the real estate market. The housing market is in flux, but the national headlines don't often fit local market conditions. Find out what's really happening on the front lines of real estate and mortgage financing in Wisconsin and make better decisions by tuning in every Sunday at 10 a.m. The AccuNet Mortgage and Realty Show with Brian and David Wickert on WTMJ.
Greg and Jessica with you. It's Wisconsin's Midday News on WTMJ. Very familiar voice is leaving a very popular program. Green Bay native John Anderson's incredible 25-year run anchoring ESPN SportsCenter is over. Final show Friday night. Anderson was reunited with longtime partner and friend Steve Levy, who paid tribute.
It's about me. I haven't done a Friday night SportsCenter since 1998. I'm here to express on behalf of every SportsCenter anchor John Anderson's ever worked with over the past 25 years our utmost admiration.
Also paying tribute to Anderson, a Packers legend.
I'm Pro Football Hall of Famer Leroy Butler, and I thought to myself, back in 2007, who should induct me into the Packer Hall of Fame? I came up with one name, the best SportsCenter anchor, John Anderson. Congratulations, my brother. 25 years of excellence. And yes, go Pack Go.
You'll still be involved with the network, anchoring some track and field coverage. Just SportsCenter is no longer part of his daily duties. Witty, is endearing, full of Wisconsin charm. John Anderson joins us here on Wisconsin's Midday News. What a run, man. Congrats.
Yeah, congrats.
I should have left this to you guys instead of Levy. That's fantastic. Thank you so much.
We have your best interest in mind. I don't know about that other guy.
Yeah, he's ready to be rid of me. But I always say it's really amazing that a kid that grew up in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and a kid that grew up in Long Island managed to gel together so well. Like he used to always say, I went to camp just so I could see grass. Because of where he grew up. And so, and I guess maybe, I don't know that opposites attract, but I think we just kind of, we filled in the gaps. Sometimes we were both baffled by each other's upbringing, and sometimes we were, engrossed by what the other did and the other did not. And it just worked. And I was really glad that he came back, because the man had just come off literally 2 weeks covering the Stanley Cup, commuting from Miami to Edmonton, and that he would come in was really speaks well of him, and I was so happy he was there.
That's so fantastic. You guys gelled so well. You landed the Sports Center hosting gig back in 1999. What was it like to say goodbye after 25 years? I mean, that's like a family.
Yeah, there were a lot of people, and I was really fortunate that a lot of people that I had done the show with over the years behind the scenes came back to work on it again. So the producer and the coordinating producer and the director and the researcher on the show were all kind of old heads like myself. So that was great. And I'll tell you what, it wasn't as nerve-wracking as the first one I did. That's for sure. It was much easier and much more calm to say goodbye than it was the first time they called. And it was on an off day. And they said, hey, would you come in tonight and do the overnight Sports Center? And naturally, I surrendered on the spot. But that one was way more nerve-wracking than number one was way more nerve-wracking than number 4,321. That's for sure.
Well, I think the real crime of it all, John, is that are you out of the Sports Center commercials? I mean, that's as much a Sports Center as anything.
Yeah, I doubt that I will be called. I'm trying to think if that's the case. My last one I did was probably with Aaron Judge. And he was great. He was, part of the thing is he's got one of his bats as a prop, and he was leaving, and he said, what do I do with this? And I said, this is where you sign it and give it to me. So he gave me the bat, and then I just gave it to one of my son's friends who was a huge Yankee fan. And I said, here, Justin, I got something for you today at work. And the kid about passed out. So, but yeah, and I always say to people, it was really fortunate because you can work at ESPN for a long time, but the commercials are so iconic that like until you appear in one, like all my friends back home that I went to high school with thought I was, washing and shamming Chris Berman's car until I appeared in a commercial. And they're like, oh, I guess he really does work there. And yeah, he's legit now.
John, I absolutely love your next chapter. You're going back to your alma mater, Mizzou, to teach broadcast journalism. I went to Indiana, so I went for broadcast journalism. So that one just strikes me. What's your plan for this next chapter?
Well, it's good. I have a lot of good friends at IU that went there. And oddly enough, regardless of what people think of Bob Knight, I'll just say this. He and my mom got along fantastically, which was really strange of all things. Yeah, that'll be for another day. But yeah, my mom and Bob Knight, God rest his soul, yeah, they hit it off immediately. And I always thought, well, that's really curious. There's my mom and Bob Knight literally drawing up plays. So, yeah, really excited for the opportunity. Didn't see that. And what was really funny is I was there in January in Missouri, and I have over the years tried to support the school financially. And I called them and I said, instead of giving money, any chance I can come spend a few days just kicking around the classrooms and over at the TV station and just visiting with kids and filling in and looking at tapes and talking and, talk to them a little bit about writing and interviewing some things that I've learned. And that turned into eventually a call back from the dean after I explored some other options and turned into this position. So I'm really excited about going back and doing that. And I have done over the last 3 or 4 years, done some work up at UMass in a classroom there with a very good friend of mine who's a professor, because the one thing I don't want to do, and I'm sure you guys can empathize with this, like we could all sit around and tell war stories days on end, but I don't want to be that guy. I want to be able to make sure that the 36 years I've spent in the business, that I can actually offer something to people and actually convey some knowledge instead of just going, well, the time I sat at the NBA Finals with LeBron James, right? Like we can all do that. But I don't know that anybody gets anything out of that. So, but it's a really unique opportunity. And 41 years after I was there as a freshman, I get to go back, which is really awesome.
And wow, how the business has changed since then.
Oh, it's incredible in terms. But as I tried to tell them when I was in January, all the classrooms I'm in, delivery has changed and consumption has changed. But I don't think who, what, where, when, why, and how has changed. And making sure all those things are correct has changed. And writing it really well will never change. So I'm kind of hoping that, if you lay those bricks in your foundation, then when the big bad wolf comes to blow it down, you should be okay, as opposed to having, straw or sticks.
Bingo. You just gave me the goosebumps when you said that. So I think day one back in that classroom, you say that and you've got the students.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Absolutely. Well, John is part of our Good Karma Brands family. He appears with Steve the Homer True on the Homer Hour weekly here on ESPN Milwaukee. And John, you're still going to be engaged in track and field. And of course, we've spoken on your podcast, the one you and Trevor do, a Wisconsin-based podcast about track and field. I was a track and field athlete in college. I always get goosebumps watching track and field, and then you marry one of my favorite hosts who's doing some of the off-track work. Man, I loved your marriage with the U.S. Championships and what we have to look forward to here going to the Olympics.
Yeah, and if anybody watched the trials for the last 9 days, which they don't need to take that long, but God bless that they stretch it out, more fantastic stuff. I mean, they finished last night with five track events. There were 5 trials records and a world record. And we're lucky, right? Where we struggle to come up with 20 good people who can play soccer in the World Cup. We have our cup overflows with excellent track and field athletes. And I always say, make sure we include the field. As a guy that used to high jump, I always like to tell them it's 43% of the events and it's 50% of the name. It's track and field. But America will send a squad that is so good and the best in the world. And if it's your thing, right? Some people like to watch horse racing or car racing. I like to watch people racing. And, It will be fantastic, from people in the 100 meters like Sha'Carri Richardson up to the 10,000 meters with people like Grant Fisher or Carissa Schweitzer, to drop a name of somebody who went from Missouri, or Wisconsin's own Kenny Bednarik, who we watching in the 100 and the 200, because he's the fastest man in Rice Lake and maybe the fastest man that the state's ever produced.
He's faster than most of the vehicles are allowed to travel in Rice Lake, I think. I think that's accurate.
I did say, I was trying to tell Homer one time, if you want to know how fast he runs in the 100 and 200, that if he was, in fact, in a school zone running, he would be speeding.
Yep. Likely get a ticket. Well, John,
that's how fast he runs.
I would talk track and field with you for hours on end. If you ever get to the point where you're crossing off names, nobody's able to join your podcast, hit me up if you want to talk track and field. That's always a passion point of mine, too.
That's good. We need more people like you and I, because it's a great sport. And everybody that says, I don't know if I liked it, I'm like, did you ever race your buddy across the street or to the tree? Good. You've been in track and field.
Done.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what it feels like.
Yeah.
John, congratulations on a marvelous run on SportsCenter. Thankful we'll still be able to watch you alongside track and field, a sport that you love, and we'll catch you on the Homer Hour here, too, weekly.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. You're very kind. And believe it or not, I got to go talk to my boss now. I'm getting off this, and the dean of the J School is coming. So I'm hoping I'm not already in trouble. I got to get used to that.
Meeting with the new boss.
When I was in school and the dean called and he wanted to talk to me, that was never a good thing. So I'm hoping this time it's a good thing.
Well, blame us if you're a minute late, John. It's all on us. Our bad. Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Cheers to the next chapter.
You bet. John Anderson, one of the best. And if you grew up watching SportsCenter like I did, and John started when I was back toward the end of my college career, but a staple for ESPN SportsCenter for a quarter of a century. Pretty amazing stuff. It's 12:29 on WTMJ. A little tardy for the news. We'll get to it coming up.
You're hearing it every day. Another political ad, another agenda. But no matter what happens in this election or the next, you still have the power to control your financial future. Elections can impact a lot of things, including the stock market, inflation, and taxes. And if you're thinking about retirement, I'd love to get you our Retirement Ready Toolkit to prepare you for the retirement you've always envisioned. Our team of advisors at Drake & Associates will show you how your savings might be affected and what you can do now to help prepare.
Don't let this election or any election control your retirement future. Call or text PREPARE to 414-441-5451 to get your complimentary retirement ready toolkit. That's PREPARE to 414-441-5451.
Investment advisory services provided by Drake & Associates, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Insurance products are offered through a separate company, Loft Financial Advisory Group, LLC, a Wisconsin insurance agency. Clients are under no obligation to purchase any recommended insurance products.
Brake issues, electrical issues, four-wheel drive issues, exhaust issues, and even my car just won't start issues.
You name it, we fixed it.
So the next time you're due for service, drive it on into Richlands and let our ASE certified technicians get you fixed up and safely back on the road.
Nothing warms my heart more than seeing our customers drive out of here with big old smiles on their faces. And all the credit goes to our staff, the most friendly, honest, hard-working, knowledgeable people in the business.
5 conveniently located facilities, all AAA approved,
and all staffed by ASE certified technicians ready to provide you with top-notch service.
And after your vehicle's been serviced, drop us a Google review and let us know how we did.
Because a Google review from you goes a long way. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands. You're due for service.
Richlands Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richlands.
I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Monday, July 1st. Your top story, the latest developments on a missing woman from Dodge County.
I'm Jessica Ty, defining historic in downtown Milwaukee.
Mostly sunny today, some PM clouds with a high of 71. Clouds on the increase tonight and a low of 62. Going to see some rain on Tuesday. Several rounds of it, perhaps. Breezy conditions with a high of 78. It is 70 degrees in Milwaukee. At 12:32 from the WTMJ breaking newsroom, the estranged husband of a missing Dodge County woman arrested for identity theft.
37-year-old Crystal Roche of Kleiman was last seen June 11th and reported missing June 23rd. Her husband, Zachariah Roche, has since been arrested for identity theft, using Crystal's debit card at several stores since her disappearance. Some of the items include gloves, stain remover, and carpet cleaner, with all charges totaling over $6,500. Investigators are currently searching a vehicle registered in Crystal's name that was found on a property belonging to Zachariah's relative. Jack Grau, WTMJ News.
Roche is currently in the Dodge County Jail on a $250,000 bond. Police say they'll consider this a missing persons investigation.
It was built in the 80s. Does that make it historic? That's what the owners of Milwaukee's iconic 100 East Wisconsin Tower want as they attempt to have it placed in the National Register of Historic Places. Teddy Nykel with the Milwaukee Business Journal tells Wisconsin's Morning News it could save them money,
because it could help them secure tax credits to pay for the conversion to apartments. So if the building is considered historic, they would be eligible for historic tax credits, and that could really help in terms of raising capital to pay for it. And it's hard to raise capital right now with interest rates and everything.
Owners Klein Development plan to turn it into about 350 apartments after all the existing office leases expire at the end of the year.
Well, the former Northridge Mall on Milwaukee's north side gets one last walkthrough today ahead of its looming demolition.
For some, it was a playground. For some, it was an opportunity to make money.
Now the city hopes the demolition of the mall at large can begin smoothly. Department of City Development Project Manager Benji Tim tells WTMJ while the demolition may occur at odd hours, it should not impact any of the nearby businesses.
That may involve working at night sometimes, especially Menards has pretty robust retail hours, so we'll probably have to do some of the work at night.
At the former Northridge Mall, Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Tim says the city hopes demolition of the main mall structure can begin later this summer.
With the 4th of July holiday landing in the middle of the week this year, people are taking advantage of some extra days off. The DOT wants to remind everyone there's still some barrels out there.
Fireworks, cookouts, and general revelry is on the horizon. Or did you celebrate last weekend? Well, either way, the DOT says folks can expect lots of company on the roads this extended holiday. With the 4th landing on Thursday, it's the perfect excuse just to slip that Friday in on your holiday plans too, which means peak travel times are going to start a little bit earlier than your standard weekend. Heads up on Wednesday afternoon heading out and Sunday afternoon heading back. Either way, watch for the barrels that are still out there, even if road crews are taking the weekend for some time off, too. Debbie Lazaga, WTMJ News.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Siding Unlimited WTMJ News time is 12:35.
Now, about your house. Eric Brown is the president of Siding Unlimited, your contractor for new windows, roofing, siding, decks, and a whole lot more. He knows about your house. So what do you know, Eric?
Do you have new siding and now you just want to keep it looking great? There are a couple things that come to mind when maintaining a beautiful home exterior. The first is just a good old cleaning. We recommend that you use a hose or a very light setting on your pressure washer to spray the dust off your siding. Don't force the water onto the siding very hard because water could get behind the siding and cause damage. Your home may or may not have a weather barrier behind the siding, and using high pressure water could cause problems. Definitely clean your siding to keep it looking beautiful, but don't get crazy and wash it off the building. Another quick tip to avoid siding issues comes with our favorite summer activity, grilling out. As much fun as it is to try different grilling recipes, using the grill too close to the home could result in some unforeseen disasters. When you use your grill, make sure it is away from the home. I like to make sure it is at least 7 feet from the house. If you have vinyl siding, the results of the grill being too close can be obvious, melted siding. However, if you have siding that won't melt, the heat from the grill could cause issues with the siding's paint or radiate through the siding and cause issues with the insulation, wiring, plumbing, or anything else in the wall that the heat could disturb. When you get new siding that is going to last a lifetime, just a few house cleaning tips can go a long way in preserving your beautiful home. Oh yeah, and keep the weed whacker away from the siding too. That never ends well.
Eric and his crews at Siding Unlimited are your go-to contractor here for replacement windows, roofing, decks, and, of course, siding. They are the best, as acknowledged by the many rewards their suppliers have conferred upon them. Now, take the next step. Check them out at sidingunlimited.com. Siding Unlimited. Siding and a whole lot more.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All sports desk. The Brewers are out west to take on the Colorado Rockies tonight. Coverage gets underway at 7:05 on WTMJ. Outfielder Garrett Mitchell off the 60-day injured list. He is with the team tonight in Colorado, available for the first time this season after a fractured finger. Milwaukee 5-1 on the recently completed homestand. NBA free agent season is underway. Teams can agree to deals or the framework of deals with upcoming pending free agents. The Bucks and guard DeLon Wright have agreed to a one-year, $3.5 million deal, according to ESPN. And Rice Lake native Kenny Bednarek qualifies for the Olympics in the 100 and 200-meter dash, finishing second in both at the U.S. Championships in Oregon.
Take a look at the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time-saver traffic. I do have a new incident I want to let you know about. It's in Racine County. It's the exit to Wisconsin 20 from 4194 South. It doesn't say exactly what it is. I can tell you, though, it's possible. I can see one car's involved. Maybe the car went over and just had a crash on its own, or maybe there was a medical incident. But it does look like there's an ambulance out there, a fire truck out there as well, and traffic is definitely moving along slowly. Once again, this is a new incident in Racine County. It's on the exit to Wisconsin 20 from 4194 South.
Traffic is sponsored by Hall Mazda Milwaukee. Visit hallmazdamilwaukee.com.
Be our eyes on the road. Report accidents, slowdowns, and road conditions to the WTMJ Hall Volkswagen Traffic Tip Line at 414-238-9329.
Beautiful day today, a high of 71 degrees. Clouds will start to filter in later in the afternoon. You'll see them overnight as well with a low of 62 degrees. Tomorrow, clouds on the increase and then some rain expected with a high of 78. Should be warm and humid on Wednesday with a high of 86. It's 69 degrees in Milwaukee at 12:39.
Water rescues in the Milwaukee River in Grafton in just 3 days. Now the Ozaukee County Sheriff's Office is urging kayakers to avoid part of the river until conditions improve. So what happened and what's going on in the river there? Grafton Fire Chief William Rice joins us to explain. Thanks for being here, Chief. I know you're busy. Oh, I guess we don't have him quite yet. We're going to be getting him momentarily.
Well, I saw this story, too, over the weekend. That's an interesting part in Grafton where you can have access to the river. And I understand the appeal, right? The water's moving. We've had elevated rain totals. Looks like a fun time to take a ride, hop in a canoe or a kayak and scoot down the river. But as the water flow increases its pace, it just becomes a little bit more dangerous of a situation.
Well, and you'll hear this as well as we go more in depth with the fire chief about this. But there are trees that are down in that area as well. So you have two things that are going on. One, you have the river, the levels are high, and the water is fast moving. And then you also have trees that are down. So that's not helping either. And people are running into problems.
Well, this is an issue here in the Milwaukee River. They do have a Grafton canoe launch. And right now you got to be cautious if you're heading into that area, as a couple have overturned, as Jessica outlined, with varying ages, right? You've got fathers and children out there just trying to enjoy their time, but maybe getting swept away a little bit with the rushing rapidity of the water, along with what you mentioned, Jessica, debris and the fact of, downed trees in the water that'll stunt any bit of travel through that spot.
Well, in this most recent incident, there were two adults. You had a man and a woman, and then their 2-year-old child. So you can imagine how scary of a situation it was for that particular family, because it's not just the two of them. They're worrying about their little kid as well and making sure that their kid is safe.
Well, it's definitely an issue here. You can understand just, what the weather system has done here. But 3 people rescued, including that 2-year-old, from the Milwaukee River. And again, this is near Grafton. So I know you can kayak, you can canoe on various parts of the Milwaukee River. But there is a spot in Grafton as it sort of flows into Cedarburg where the water's just moving at a different pace than if you were to get on board a kayak or canoe somewhere near downtown Milwaukee and have access maybe even to Lake Michigan. It's just much different how fast the river flows. It moves, but it moves with a much greater pace when you get a little bit north of the city, upwards of Cedarburg and again into Grafton, where Grafton and Saukville fire departments had to respond. This was over the weekend to multiple calls here to the Ozaukee County Sheriff's Office. So, canoe or kayak in Grafton on the Milwaukee River, a little different than your experience, in all likelihood, if you hop on board toward downtown Milwaukee, which I've done several times, right? The old Lackey and Joy's near Water Street as it bends over to Brady. There was a canoe launch there. You could rent a kayak. You could work your way through downtown. You could pop off and maybe hop into the Harp for a drink. Well, it's just a different and much more easygoing sort of pace in that part of Milwaukee than it is here as you get to Grafton, Cedarburg, that area.
Well, and I'll tell you what, I was going down to my dad's to visit him. My brother was in from Grand Rapids on Saturday, and so I went down there, and he's over in Mequon, and I was going by the river, and I wasn't even necessarily looking at the river, but just going by, I could see just how high the river was. I mean, I took note. Sure. I thought, oh, wow, I didn't realize, because I hadn't been down there in a little bit, I didn't realize just how high the water levels were. But here's the situation, though. In both of these incidents, the kayakers entered the Milwaukee River from Lime Kiln Park in the village of Grafton, and their kayaks overturned in the area of Manchester Drive in the town of Grafton. So the kayaks, they basically flipped over due to rapid water conditions and downed trees that I was mentioning in the river. So that causes obstacles, and it makes it really hard to navigate the water there. So the Ozaukee County Sheriff's Office is now urging kayakers to avoid using that stretch of the Milwaukee River until water levels go down and the water conditions improve.
It's a beautiful route, too. If you've ever been up in that area, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's a very scenic route. So I understand the appeal. You just got to really be cautious when those water levels rise. Even if you're an experienced kayaker, you got enough ripples for a thrill, and it hopefully is safe enough for you to traverse, but you never know, it could pop in your way. But it's a very beautiful area, very very common for people to hop in their boats. We're just seeing an elevated rain total here lift those water levels to new heights.
Yeah, and I had mentioned what happened a little bit in the first incident, the most recent incident on Saturday with the 2 adults and their 2-year-old child. But then just days before that, on Thursday, you had a 49-year-old man and his 16-year-old son who were kayaking down the river when their kayaks overturned. So both of them, in that case, they were wearing life jackets. They got separated from their kayaks, but they were stranded on this island. And it's possible, the fire chief was telling me on the phone earlier, that it's possible this has happened to more people as well, but they're just making their way to the shore. Whereas in this case, if you go a certain way, you end up on the island, and that's when ultimately the water rescue has to come into play. So it's possible that this has happened to other people recently too, but they were able to get to shore and not call. It looks like we do have the Grafton Fire Chief on the line right now, William Rice. Thanks so much for joining us. I know you guys have had a busy few days here. You have been coordinating these rescue efforts.
Yes, we have had a few calls on the river, and it's required services of the fire department.
So, Chief, walk us through the most recent one on Saturday. What happened and why?
Well, what's kind of a common practice is people put their canoes and kayaks in at Limekiln Park and will let the current take them down the Milwaukee River. It's a pretty common thing. It's been going on for many years. The problem, if you have a dry season, it can be a rocky ride and not all that pleasurable. But the opposite occurs when we get a lot of rain like we have now. The river is very high and it's running with a lot of force. The current is very strong. So people put their canoes or kayaks in. Right now, kayaks are much more popular, I think, so those are the most common ones. They head down the river. It seems like a pleasant adventure, and it seems like what's happening right now on the Milwaukee River, just south of Limekiln Park in Grafton, is they are seeing some areas they want to avoid that look like they're a little rough, and then they head around a different side of an island that looks a little calmer. When they make the turn around that island, what they can't see is a lot of down trees. And once their kayaks hit those trees, they pretty much instantly, a kayak or a canoe will, when it hits a tree, will go sideways right away, and then the current pretty much pushes that kayak underwater, and that's when they get knocked off their kayaks. Many of these people have been ending up on the island side, and they may not have their kayak anymore. They may not have their flotation devices, and then if they have a phone, they can call 911, or they just start calling out for help until a neighbor or somebody hears them, and then we get called.
Chief, during this time, do you have any additional warning signs up? Something that's just maybe a little different than normal to try and alert those who are entering the water?
We don't have anything in particular because people put their boats in all different places. They put them in on private property. They put them in at Limekiln. They put them in upriver. They put them in. There's another private area right above where these accidents are happening. So it's kind of hard for us to control that. And I think history has shown that people want to do what they want to do, and they don't always listen to advice of staying off the river.
So you have the most recent incident on Saturday with a 38-year-old man, a 36-year-old woman, and their 2-year-old child. And just days before, on Thursday, another incident with a 49-year-old male and his 16-year-old son. Is this rare to have this number of water rescues on the Milwaukee River in the same area, so close together?
Yes, I would say it is pretty rare. I've been the chief in Grafton for 11 years, and we've never had this many so close together. So whether it's a coincidence or not, I'm not sure. If you or any of your listeners have been on any of the rivers, one thing that you notice right now is a lot of fallen trees, more so than we've had in the past. I'm assuming it's due to the emerald ash borer problem. So you just have a lot of down trees in various piles or hanging over in the river. And I'm guessing that combined with the higher water that we have right now is what's highlighted this problem here in the last week.
Chief, I just wanted to ask one more question for people who aren't familiar. I know a lot of people out in that area know exactly what we're talking about, but for those who don't, this island that in both of these cases the people ended up going to be able to wait to be rescued, what is that island like?
Well, it's if you picture a lake or a river with just a, quote, island in the middle of it, that's not the case here. There's multiple, at this part of the Milwaukee River, it's really, the only way to really see it and understand it is to maybe, like go on Google Maps and look at a satellite view. Then you get a much better idea. There's a sequence of larger islands that cover actually a pretty large area. Truthfully, it's really floodplain. So when the water's way up, it encroaches on these islands. When it goes down, there might not even be an island. You might be able to walk through a creek out to these islands. But doesn't look like a typical island, and they're large. So you could have one person on one part of the island who isn't even in sight or voice contact with someone in another part of the island, which makes what we do a little more difficult. And that's what happened Saturday. The father and child were in one location, and then I believe it was the mother, I'll just say the female, she was in a different location.
Well, Zaki officials are saying avoid this part of the Milwaukee River after 2 different kayak rescues in the same place. Grafton Fire Chief William Rice, we know you're a busy man today, and always, William, we appreciate your time in joining us. Thank you for helping us through the story.
Thanks, Chief.
You're welcome.
It's 12:50 on WTMJ. We're back after this.
This is Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenex Arthritis Clinics, and I want to talk about exactly what we do. When you come here, you're going to get 2 shots with 2 very small needles. One will be a medication called Toradol, which is a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory, completely different from a standard steroid or cortisone injection. This medication is safe and a great pain reliever. The other will be hyaluronic acid, which is a naturally occurring fluid found in all of our joints. What hyaluronic acid does is it helps recoat the inside surfaces to provide cushioning and lubrication. It helps slow down the osteoarthritis process to a point where patients may not need surgery. All of this combined with using our state-of-the-art Ultra G machine developed by NASA has produced profound results. What we do works. And the best part about this is that insurance covers most of our patients' treatments. Go to Rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
Amish outdoor furniture with poly and wood available. And that poly is the richest of outdoor furniture. It's just about indestructible and will virtually last forever. At Erickson's, we have poly furniture in abundance, so you're guaranteed to see a great selection. The beauty of it is you can put it outside all year round and not worry about it, because the color runs all the way through, so it doesn't fade, and minor nicks and scratches won't hurt the look. Erickson's Landscape Supply. For an abundant selection of poly and wood Amish outdoor furniture, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. You'll be hard-pressed to find a better selection of metal yard art than we have here at Erickson's. Anything from natural and painted metal signs to painted roosters from 1 to 6 feet tall. Natural steel flying ducks and cattails. Cute little frogs, geckos, pigs, flamingos, and goats. And palm trees. The list is endless. And that's why you come here. Erickson's Landscape Supply, right on Spring Street in Union Grove, where you'll find a fantastic array of artisanal metal yard art. Visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. Or better yet, drive on over and take a gander at the goods.
Woo! Hey, this is Ben Brust from Kyle Brust and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin. People can't stop screaming about the Screamin' Sicilian frozen pizza, and no wonder. There's plenty to scream about, like the buttery stone-fired crust, secret recipe tomato sauce, mounds of whole milk mozzarella, and tons of premium toppings. Find Screamin' Sicilian in your local grocer's freezer and find out for yourself why Sport called Screamin' Sicilian's Holy Pepperoni Frozen Pizza the best of the best. Screamin' Sicilian, taste what all the screamin' is about.
With hail and high winds experienced this year in South Milwaukee, Oak Creek, and surrounding areas, Ridgetop Exteriors has been hard at work helping the community get their homes repaired. If you've experienced damage to your home, you need a local and trusted contractor. Ridgetop Exteriors' expert team specializes in navigating the insurance process so your repairs can get done. And they're happy to come out anytime for a free damage inspection. Schedule your free inspection today at ridgetopexteriors.com. Roofing, siding, windows, and doors. ridgetopexteriors.com.
Need to hire quality candidates fast? You need Indeed. Our video interview tool makes it easy and effortless to meet with candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
Hey, boaters!
It's a boater's do-it-yourselfer's dream store. Kendor Marine stocks thousands of boat parts and supplies. Just about everything you'd ever need to keep your boat up and running. Whether it's common or something you think might be discontinued, you can bet on us having it. So don't be surprised when we have just what you need. I'm Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey, boaters! Cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
Hey, boaters!
Some call them eyeball parts, but we call them a huge part of our inventory. Dave Doro here from Kendor Marine. With thousands of boat parts and supplies stacked right here in our store, you won't have to look elsewhere. If you need it, chances are we got it, along with expert advice to get your job done right. Hey, boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey, boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
Inflation is real, but not at the family-owned Mine Shaft restaurant in Hartford. WTMJ's John Mercure here. This is new. Every Monday, when you buy one pizza, you get a second pizza free. Buy 5 pizzas, get 5 free. Buy 10, get 10 free pizzas. Coaches and teachers, bring your team or school club. Your players will love the pizza and that world-class game room. It's safe. It's super affordable. It's great team bonding. Bring in pizza today for your loyal employees and clients. They'll remember you, and a great way to start the week is your second pizza is always free. Don't cook and clean today. Mondays are tough enough. Enjoy the free pizza at the Mine Shaft. I love the pizza. Your kids and grandkids will love that huge game room. Order now, pick up your pizza shortly, or dine in. The Mine Shaft in beautiful downtown Hartford and just off the interstate in Oshkosh. Buy one pizza today, get one free for an easy Monday. And desserts, buy one, get one free. Just walk on in. MineShaftRestaurant.com. It's the amazing Mine Shaft.
Wrapping up Wisconsin's Midday News on a Monday. Happy Bobby Bonilla Day to all those who celebrate.
Tell me more.
Happy Bobby Bonilla Day. Bobby Bonilla had a long career in the major leagues, primarily with the Pirates, and he had 2 different stints with the New York Mets, spanning from 1986 to the year 2001 when he ultimately retired. Well, in 2000, second time with the Mets, they agreed to buy out his contract. He wasn't performing very well. It's the back end of his career. He's an all-star, but it just didn't have it in the tank anymore. So the Mets agreed to buy out the remaining $5.9 million of Bonilla's contract. However, instead of paying Bonilla the $5.9 million, just here you go, the Mets agreed to make annual payments of nearly $1.2 million for 25 consecutive years. Woo! Beginning July 1st, 2011, including a negotiated 8% interest. So clubs will do this here on occasion. They'll deferred money. Money tomorrow is better spent than money today. That's
sure,
just
sometimes it just works out better that way.
In very general terms, sometimes that applies. A rare agreement, but we're in the middle of it right now. Bonilla will be paid $1.2 million, roughly, through the age of 2035 when he will be 72 years old. That is unbelievable. So happy Bobby Bonilla Day. If you think this is Bobby Bonilla's only deferred contract plan, it is not. He also has one at the Baltimore Orioles that pays him $500,000 for 25 years, and those started in 2004. So he's getting nearly $2.5 million well after he's in his 60s, for goodness sake, right now. Just collecting check after check after check. July 1st is known in baseball as Bobby Bonilla Day.
Yeah, I thought today it was the special Monday because it's the Monday before the 4th. Nope, it's special because Monday is Bobby Bonilla Day.
Cashing in, and he will for another decade or so. 12:58, Spanning the State coming up next.
These are your business headlines from the Milwaukee Business Journal.
The Pfister Hotel lobby is getting an upgrade. The space update is part of a $20 million renovation to the hotel, with the project expected to be completed by the end of the